Um, what the reason I jumped in this room is because I'm interested in SE. So I saw you in here, so I came in and Alfonso. Um, so that's why I jumped in here. The can of words thing. Um, is there really a can of words on here somewhere?
Yeah, I physically have a can full of sticky notes that I've written words down, uh, of which I've had a hard time defining, and I've had my conversation partners have had a hard time defining. So I wrote a bunch of words down, stick them in a can, and now I'm giving people the opportunity to talk about them if they want to. So it's your
Okay.
turn. I can pick a word for you if you want, or if you have questions about SE, I can try to help with that too.
Well, I've been following as much as I can and watching the YouTube videos and also when they get together to do the reviews.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm on the Discord too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I want to try. I want to start practicing with you guys though, on one side or the other. But yeah, I'm very interested in that. Well, yeah, you go ahead, pick a word, and if I have trouble with it, then someone else can take it.
Okay, cool. Let's see what I've got here.
David, what are you
Heron,
rummaging around there?
we're playing your game, Heron. Words.
Yeah, I'm having fun listening here. We'll see how it goes.
Uh,
Welcome to the hot tub, Heron. Just making sure everybody rinses off first before they come in because phosphate levels are hard to manage.
what's the word?
The word is mindfulness.
Um, okay, mindfulness. I kind of relate that um, very close to consciousness. It's the ability to be aware of not only your surroundings, but also your innermost feelings, to be conscious of what's going on inside of you and as well as outside of you. Uh, I don't know. I mean, that's what I think of when I hear that word.
Is there any situation where the word mindfulness would be a more accurate term to use than consciousness?
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but they're two different words, so I know they don't mean the exact same thing. Mindful, I think it. I don't know if anyone else is like a meditator, but you kind of get in touch with what's going on inside and your thoughts and your body rhythm, your heartbeat, things like that. And I just relate that uh, mindfulness. It's more. I think of it more of as like an internal thing, and you're um, um, right outside of your body. Very your your I don't know what to call it. Your environment, close environment. And yes, I do think that's different than consciousness. Don't ask me to define that, please. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, just a couple days ago, I heard somebody suggest that the word mindfulness as it's used these days was actually incorrect from many perspectives, that it really should be called mindlessness, shutting down all the analysis and stuff and just getting to the kernel or something. I don't remember the words, but he suggested mindlessness as an
I
alternative.
I can yeah I can understand that why you would say that.
I think there's a difference though between being mindful and being mindless, and I think that mindlessness is like what you try to do when you're meditating. For me, mindfulness means like just like Time said, it's about being aware of where you are, the present, like where you are right now, what's going on with your body, you know, what's about to come up next, but it's about being mindful and aware of your location, what's about to happen, because I feel like my mind, at least, I'm always like planning way in advance, or I'm anxious about something that's about to happen, or I'm feeling guilty about something in the past. I have a hard time keeping my mind centered to like where I am right now. So for me, mindfulness is the practice of like, okay, let's focus on my breathing. What am I touching right now? What am I supposed to be doing? Can I feel the air on my skin? Like it's like practice of just like bringing myself back to the present. Mindlessness for me would be like silent meditation. You're just sitting in silence for long periods of time and kind of just letting your mind do nothing. Just kind of like trying to, I would say try, but like just letting your mind go. So I think mindlessness for me is more of a meditative state, and mindfulness is more about being aware of yourself, your surroundings, and what's going on with you right then and there.
Well put. Yeah.
But words can mean anything you want them to mean. There's no one right answer.
Yeah, that's the point, is that people use these words and they often, it's not exactly clear what they're referring to here.
I'm guilty of that. Using words, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, why do you define time, Bishop?" And I'm like, you know,
Time, that's a good one.
I meditate, but for recreational purposes only. All right. Anyone else want to
Hold on.
add?
I don't
Yeah,
how
go
does
ahead.
someone meditate for recreation?
Yeah, it's just because I like to, not because I have a goal in mind or anything like that.
Okay. Recreation. Okay. I never heard that's two words I never put together before. I do it, because it calms me down and it centers me and things like that, or for health reasons, or to get away from problems, things like that. But I've never heard, I do it because it's a recreational, it's a recreational thing for me. Okay.
Yeah, I
Do you
enjoy
think
it.
meditation could be a recreational drug?
I think that it might cause certain chemicals in your brain to kind of get uh, what's the word? Um, like the same the same things can happen in meditation that you can get from uh, other drugs, maybe.
Um, well, my understanding is that meditation is similar to sleep. So what you're doing, what your brain does, is it gets rid of excess. I don't want to call them toxins, but chemicals that are, that it needs to get rid of. It's like a cleansing. Um, and it replenishes the neurotransmitters that you need to function for your, brain to be activated and whatever. And then, but if you do it for, if you do like intense meditation and your brain is all calm and organized and cleansed and then you're supposed to get out and go hunting. You're supposed to go out and work and put all these chemicals to good use. So if you don't, your brain will just find activity. It'll activate these chemicals. It'll go into thinking, and because it's just and so that's why people who are deep meditators or who practice samadhi, all these very very hardcore meditative practices. They say that it's a pathway to enlightenment. It's just like taking mushrooms. All these chemicals, all these your brain has been so put in such shape that it needs to get active again. But since you're forcing yourself not to, you'll start, tripping.
Activate. That was the word I was trying to think of. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So I guess you could say that meditation has a recreational use for people who don't think they're actually connecting with the Paramatma or some higher force in the universe, right? You're actually tripping. You're doing mushrooms without mushrooms. You're doing drugs without drugs.
That seems like a neat
Yeah.
way to access your subconscious, right? Like, I imagine that most of us have an inner monologue and we don't confuse it for a separate being. But if you're indoctrinated, right, and you're essentially listening to your own inner voice, for some folks, that might be a crazy experience, right? That might be the other that's telling them information.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. One thing that meditation has taught me is that I don't need to meditate.
I was once told by my mentors, my friends in London who meditated a lot. They were like, I can see you're doing well. You must be sitting. They didn't call it meditation, they called it sitting. And they said, you must be sitting a lot. How long are you sitting every day? And I said, I'm not. Well, and if I do, I'm now able to sit because before my brain was too overwhelmed with life. But since I started hanging out with you guys, you've kind of reprogrammed or helped me um, quiet down my mind a little bit, and so now I can sit. But I said it's practice that allowed me to sit, not sitting that allowed me to engage in practice.
What you learned from meditating was that you don't have to meditate. And I was just curious, like, if you could explain that more.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the word that we pulled out as far as mindfulness. Um, it, Meditating causes the realization that there's just meditating happening, not really anybody there meditating. So if we look at it that way, um, I don't have to meditate because there's no there's no person meditating. There's only the meditation. So that kind of is what meditation helps with. I hope that
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the whole thing because I'm not getting a very strong signal right now, but I got the gist of what you were saying. In fact, I'm going to get off and try getting back on again to see if that helps.
I mean, you're more or less describing flow state, right, David? That like the conscious mind dissolves into the background and you're simply in a state of being and acting.
Right, I guess. More like being being is happening. There's no necessity of a thing being or a person being or a consciousness being. There's just the being. That's what happens when meditation is going on uh in the this address. it's it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar experience in art making where I reach a point where I'm no longer thinking about the brushstroke or the paint or whatever. I'm just uh, just in the moment, and there's no conscious like, oh, I need to do this, and then afterwards I need to do that. There's just the flow, right?
Right, totally. And I'm a musician. I play drums, and um, this seems to be apparent um, when the song is going on and I'm not thinking about the next part to play. It's just basically playing itself, and I'm not even there. That's that's kind of the same experience that happens. And I think that that's what you're referring to with art.
Yeah, I mean, flow state is a very fascinating thing because I feel like so many people experience it obviously slightly different because we're all having the subjective experience of existence. But like a writer who's writing at the keyboard will experience flow state um, in the similar process of like I have dissolved into the background, and the only thing that's really happening is that there's this subconsciousness that's transmitting onto that canvas or the photograph or whatever. And that to me is just such a like a fundamental aspect of our cerebral architecture that seems to pop up over and over and over again, and that folks thousands of years ago decided that was a spiritual connection instead of a creative expression. And uh, and so it's like I can jive with people that are spiritual. We just sort of have to figure out the jargon that we're saying to each other, and get to the point, right?
Yeah, I think I understand um, what you're saying. And again, it's kind of hard to put in words, um, because if if we say that we are meditating, we are kind of assigning the action to a subject that's doing the action. And with meditation, that seems to be the part that goes away while meditating.